This is crazy.
P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude, Pascal.
What's up? 5 children are found in a dungeon-like home. Deplorable living conditions, etc. This is absolutely insane. 2 parents have been arrested for keeping these 5 kids holed up in a room with very little clothing, very little food, and no beds, y'all. I read somewhere where these kids don't even have beds. They're just locked in this home. And thanks to a family member, they never disclose who it is, but a family member, thank God for this family member for calling police and bringing awareness to this situation and bringing these kids to safety. This is insane, y'all. We got a video we're going to be looking at. We got this article, but this is the real deal, Holyfield. You got 5 children that have been locked up in a dungeon-like place with boarded walls, deplorable living conditions, and finally, the parents, the couple, have been arrested. Their names are James Call and Carly Call, okay? And this is disgusting. They're apparently even using weapons. Like, this is bad. There's a lot of code words I'm going to have to be using here in the very near future, so just a heads up. But this is insane, okay? A couple was charged after Pennsylvania State Police allegedly found 5 children in deplorable living conditions in a Redstone Township, Pennsylvania home. So James and Carly Call were charged with endangering the welfare of a child, aggravated A, and reckless endangerment. All right. Police were initially called to the home on August 8th to help Fayette County Children and Youth Services after there was a report that children were living there in deplorable conditions. Authorities allegedly found the couple's 5 children living in a home along Willis Avenue with no beds, boarded up windows, feces on bedroom walls, fleas, and an limited supply of clothing and food. It is sickening. That's the only word to describe it. It's sickening. This is what one of the troopers said to the outlet, to the news. The children range between the ages of 5 and 14. 5 kids between 5 and 14, okay? The ages of 5 to 14, all right? This room functioned as a dungeon with a video camera hardwired to the father's bedroom. I can't imagine living in a household like what we saw. Okay, this is what the Fayette County District Attorney said when they laid eyes on this information, laid eyes on the living conditions. No person should live like this. Nobody. Authorities alleged the room functioned as a dungeon with video cameras hardwired to the father's room. Troopers also found 3 deadbolt locks on the outside of the door, and the door had no door handle, which left the children trapped on the inside of the room. The Calls were arrested. The two monsters were arrested on Wednesday when a search warrant was served. Now, police allegedly found a weapon, a stun gun, a replica pew-pew, a surveillance camera, substances, and paraphernalia substance paraphernalia, for lack of a better term. The children were safely removed from the household and placed into the care of Child and Youth Services. Thank God they were. We are very happy. We are very, very happy that a family member was willing to come forward and report this to us. And I want to know who's the family member that said this. And I also want to know, how long did this last for? How long did they realize, oh my God, how long did it take for them to realize that these kids were living in such squalor for them to finally give 911 a call, right? And report this situation. But moving on, we are very happy with our Children and Youth Services who removed these children, and our Bell Vernon State Police that continued this investigation long after the children were removed to make the arrest that they did today. Oh my gosh, this is just freaking insane. But let's take a look at this from CBS, if I'm correct, or KDKA, which is just insane, guys.
Children. Krista Rose has more on what the husband and wife are accused of doing. This morning, the Pennsylvania State Police arrested husband and wife James and Carly Call after executing a search warrant on their home on Willis Avenue in Redstone Township, Fayette County. Police say a family member reported the couple to the Fayette County Child and Youth Services back in August. They say the Calls, 5 children, ages 5 to 14, and one with severe developmental disabilities, were living in deplorable conditions.
Now, this screams to me another Emmanuel Hotto situation. Well, you know, obviously we've been on this conversation about Emmanuel Hotto. We've been talking about those two disgusting monsters of parents, and then now we got 2 parents that are doing this to 5 kids. Now, I already know that Jake and them, okay, have other kids as well, and they are also victims of that man's wrath and that man's monstrous ways as well. But they're doing this all at once with 5 kids, 5 of them all at once. That is absolutely insane. Okay. And again, you just never know what people are doing behind closed doors. This is insane, y'all. This is insane.
State police say children were locked in a room with no beds, boarded up windows, excrement on the walls, and fleas. They were monitored by their parents with cameras, and at least one child was punished by their parents with a stun gun.
Yikes.
Trooper Allie Wilson of the Pennsylvania State Police described what her and her fellow troopers saw at the Calls' house in one word.
It's sickening. That's the only word to describe it. It's sickening.
Obviously.
I mean, it's that the stuff like that, seeing stuff like that just makes you want to scratch yourself. You know what I mean? It makes you itch. Okay. And the fact that these kids were living in such a way is insane. And the fact that there are 2 people that are willing to let their children live in such conditions is just beyond me, y'all. It's just absolutely beyond me. But again, this is actually happening. This is really real. Okay. And we've heard this whole story about the Turpin family. Okay. They had a multitude of kids living in squalor as well, chained to beds, etc. I mean, and they all got emancipated, thank God. But again, you know, we're hearing more and more about the way people are raising their children in the most egregious ways. What is going on here, y'all?
County District Attorney Michael Abel says the couple is facing charges including endangering the welfare of a child, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment.
We're very, very happy that a family member was willing to come forward and report this to us. We're very happy with our Children and Youth Services who removed these children, and our Bell Veteran State Police that continued this investigation long after the children were removed to make the arrest that they did today.
According to Abel, the children that were removed last month are doing much better in their placement homes.
Of course, they're doing much better in their placement homes. What do you expect them to do? Not be living in a better place? Be in a better place because this man and his wife decided to be disgusting individuals. No care for human life, no care for the kids that they procreated, that they sired and brought onto this planet. And see, this is the reason why I keep saying some people need to go through some sort of like certification test or something like that to even be able to have children. Okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, the act of making children, the act of making them is a whole lot of fun. Okay, that hibbity dibbity is a lot of fun. Okay, but at the same time, when you actually are making children, that comes with responsibility. And when you have people who don't give a damn about human life, why should they even be allowed to even procreate? Real talk. You got 5 children that they brought on this world and into this world, and they don't give a damn. They don't care about their child or their children. I'm sorry, in this case, it's absolutely crazy, guys. Again, like I said, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Okay. These people should not have even been able to have the opportunity to make children. But lo and behold, they did. What kind of charges are coming to them? Or actually, are the charges that they're looking at really going to stick? And at the same time, what kind of sentence is coming for these people? I'm telling you right now, there should be zero tolerance when you're talking about littles. You're talking about the future of our world, okay? And the more and more that we have these kids constantly getting hurt, traumatized, It's like they are taking that infectious disease and they're passing, and there's still potential of them passing that on to other people. Because if they've been traumatized deeply, they may do the exact same thing. God forbid they do, but there's still a possibility of that kid growing up to be an adult and becoming exactly like their father and doing this all over again to their own kids. And it keeps going and going and going and going and going. This is absolutely insane. Okay. And I can't believe this is even a real thing. Is it because of substances? They might use that as an excuse. They might actually say, oh, it's because of the substances. That's why I'm addicted. I have a problem. They might say that too, right? But that still does not suffice. That still does not excuse them treating their children like they're nothing. They treated these kids less than a dog. There are people out here that are willing to do everything they can for their own freaking dog. They will put these dogs in little doggy pooches, you know what I mean? Carrying them around when these dogs have 4 legs. Let them walk around, right? They'll do everything they can. They'll sacrifice life and limb for their dogs. These people didn't even give a damn about their kids. These kids were less than dog water in their eyes. Listen, the law, okay, better throw the damn, not even the book, the library at these two. Throw the damn library at these two and let them rot in prison. These people should not be out here, period. Sorry, just had to get that off my chest. I'm tired of these people doing bad things to kids, and they need to fully be held accountable and suffer the consequences of their deplorable actions. So we'll see what happens with this situation. But these two better not be out in 6 months, ready to go and do this all over again. Oh, they better not. But we'll keep watch. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. We'll talk here soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.